Hello everybody and welcome back to the business end of the Assetto Corsa Karting League season. We're here at round 9 at Karting Vendrell, a Spanish-based track. You know, we've done a lot of Spanish-based tracks in this championship already, but this one, I have to say, is probably one of the most exciting ones. We didn't run it in season 1, nor have we ever run an endurance on the track. So we're going to see so many different drivers now struggle who are doing well in the championship, and now they will struggle at this track, as we've seen in practice so far. It's a huge track with over 13 turns. It's 6-7 meters in length at times and width. It's a very wide track, so you're going to see lots of action. But we've got a championship fight in both the gold and silver categories, as Jim Paris versus Sora now is coming down to the last few races with their drop rounds included. And of course, we got Harry Power and Marte Sheplo fighting in the silver category for their championships. And if you want to join the community, feel free to join our Discord. We got it all linked down below in the description of this video, this live stream. So please check it out. You know, we're looking to grow the server and grow everything around ACK at the moment. And we've seen already there's 12 new drivers taking part in this round. You know, so late into the season, you wouldn't expect people to be jumping on so late, but getting that practice for season 3 is going to be very important for them. But we're jumping into the action. This is practice now. We're not in qualifying yet. There's only 1 minute to go before the start of the first qualifying. Now, we got 2 sprint races today with an expected 15 drivers in each sprint race. Now, at the moment, we've got 12, but we're just waiting for a few more to hopefully join. There's one right there from Magic Rex, but it's a sellout crowd for today's race, and it's fantastic to see. the drivers at the front of the championship fighting for their points will be challenged by their new faces. I've seen some exciting new names already. I was looking in practice earlier. Max Andrews stands out to me as somebody who was practicing a lot, and now they will be trying against the best in this race. We've had the likes of Jim Paris. Jim Paris is returning for this round now, and he wasn't at round 8, which is going to be a bit of a disadvantage for him because it means he gets one less drop round, and he has to make this round count. But we're only 10 seconds away from the start of qualifying now. Now, this is a huge track. We're expecting drivers to go together, but they've got a lot of time to get that pit lane. So we're going to see a big sort of breakaway, I think, from a couple of drivers. And then a lot of drivers will probably be just backing off, trying to make the gaps, because mistakes are plentiful at this track. We're going to see lots of mistakes, I think, today. We're going to see lots of, I think, contact even, because it's not straightforward, some of these corners. But we're just waiting now for the start of qualifying, as all drivers are in. We're waiting for some qualifying, and there it is. This is now the start of qualifying. So, who will be first out? Who will come out? Who will be confident enough to beat the first driver on the track? It looks like Jan Leemans. Jan Leemans, who currently is 3rd in the championship. He will be looking for a result today to take the fight to the front runners and finish. At the moment, it's not looking like he can win this championship. He is a fair wide off. He's 16 points behind Jim Paris. That's a lot of positions to make up in 2 rounds of the championship. But he wants to finish that top 3, and we've got drivers behind such as Pierre Ligio and Adam Sherpitt who can take that 3rd place off them, and finishing top 3 in this 10-round championship is a very hard feat, as we've seen so many drivers join the championship and bring the challenge to these front runners. But Jan Leemans looks like he is barreling away there in the lead. He will want to be the first one across that line. Jim Paris is following closely behind, though, so it's going to be very interesting to see where Jim Paris finishes here at the moment. It's definitely going to be one of those situations. So we got the fantastic Soren in this as well. The big championship. just caught my eye right here. Jan Leemans crashing on his practice lap even. That's something you don't want to see. And Jim Paris is having none of it as he overtakes Jan Leemans. And Jan Leemans surely wants to follow Jim here. The championship leader. You'd want to follow him in a prime position to score a good lap time. He does back off a little bit here, Jim. He doesn't want Jan Leemans behind him. Pulls to the side. Jan will go out in the lead. You don't want to do this on the last corner of a lap. Soren just closely behind. These 3 drivers who are top 3 in the championship even. Jan Leemans has dropped to 4th, but the top drivers in the championship, as they start the qualifying lap all together, so everybody is out on track. So it looks like we are going to get all drivers competing as we come down to the first section. We're going to be following them through the sectors at the moment, because we can't comment too much on how they're driving. I haven't done a lot of practice myself on this track, so I can't speak about the lap itself. But as we follow the sectors, Soren is the fastest through the first sector, and he's up by 3/10 on the front on Jan Leemans and Jim Paris. And a little mistake there from Jan Leemans. We saw he just had to hack the wheel an extra little bit as we come through. We're looking at the sectors now, and Soren is over a second on most of the drivers behind. Andres Lanzard is catching my eye. He's looking okay at the moment. As we're now coming to the middle part of the lap. It's a long lap here. We're expecting a 1:15 for pole position as they're coming round now. Through the sort of top section of the track. The elevation does change a lot here. You can see it in the bumps as they come round. And sticking to the middle of the track there, Jan. And Soren now right behind Jim Paris. Has he made a mistake getting too close? You wouldn't expect him to overtake here. And it is all fair as they come into the last corners. Jim Paris is so here we go. This is where it matters. Jan Leemans will cross the line with a 1:16. Jim Paris goes to top. Now Soren goes above him cleanly by 0.6 of a second. As we're waiting now for more drivers coming across the line. It'll be Andres Lanzardis next. Lanzardis down to 5th. Max Andrews up to 4th. Fantastic lap from him there. KBP comes through into 5th. Andres Lanzardis dropping like a brick at the moment. Not a good lap from him. Dennis Okamoid is up to 4th. With only a 17.5 though. That's beatable. As Magic Rex comes across the line, only in, where is he? He dropped to 10th. Brandon Q now we're waiting for. Brandon, 2 drivers now. Marty Sheplo. And Marty Sheplo, I know for a fact, drops to the back each qualifying. So he's going to be the last driver across the line here as they come round. Here comes Brandon finishing his lap. Leon Blindell just joining the server. He will have to start from the back. Brandon goes 11th place. Is waiting for Marty Sheplo, the last driver across the line. Marty Sheplo to 4th. Fantastic lap from him right there. What a great lap from Marty Sheplo. But the top 3. And in the top 3 drivers in the championship all in the top 3 for this race. Now, this is going to be a fantastic sprint race, I can already tell. You know, the top 3 in the championship before drops, all facing off there in the sprint race. And don't forget, to win the sprint race, you get 3 points for winning that sprint race, and then 2 for finishing second and 1 for finishing third. Sprint race points matter. If you want to win championships, you have to win sprint races. Now, there's no Joker lap in this sprint race. It's just a 5-minute race, and it's a 1 minute 15 laps, so it's going to be only about 4 or 5 laps, the race length here. But we're going to get underway here for the first sprint race of today. Jim Paris is tucked in nicely there behind Soren, as Soren gets a clean lead away, but Jim Paris does go back wide, trying to get that cut on the inside. Doesn't get it, as we see most drivers clean. Soren defends down the back straight here. This is his title competitor. These are the top 2 in the championship on drop rounds, and Jim Paris does go to the inside, and he's going to go for the early move, and he gets the inside here, but Soren does hold the outside. Jim Paris is now still has the inside, and he has to give it to Soren as they both go wide. There's not a lot of contact in the middle. I just saw Andres Lanzares slightly move off there. A lot of contact at the back. Andres Lanzares there, dropping to the back. He started a little only in 12th, as we see Soren now with the clear lead here. And there's already only 4.5 minutes to go in this race, so it's going to be a very short one. Jan Lehmann's just sitting back now, watching Jim and Soren, not particularly messing with this fight at the moment, as Soren still defends. We're seeing defending here. This is the fight for the championship at the moment. Jim Paris he's got 9 points in hand at the moment, so he can afford to drop a point or 2 here or there. But generally speaking, he needs to be in the top 3, top 5 of each race to win this championship if Soren is going to win the next race, and this one included. But we're coming around. It's been a very clean race so far, I'd say. I'm looking back through the order. Very little contact. We saw a little bit of that first corner, but it seems to be cleaned up. They're only a couple of seconds behind. Soren is leading this race, though, and he has to defend down the back straight. Jim Paris is pushing Soren through. This is where Jan Lehmann's got a chance to get the jump on them both, and he doesn't. He makes a bit of contact there, but he doesn't take it. Soren is going to go to the inside. Bit of contact there. There's contact everywhere at the moment, and it's coming from the front. Soren does keep the lead, though, as Jim Paris now is under pressure from Jan. He doesn't look to the inside, but doesn't make it happen. Mate Sheplo in a fantastic 4th here, keeping up. And Mate Sheplo is somebody to talk about, because he's fighting Harry Power for the silver title. And, Harry Power has to respond to this 4th place Mate Sheplo can finish in his sprint race coming up in about 10 minutes' time. As we see now, Soren has a little bit of a gap at the moment. Jim Paris has just had to cover off Jan, back off a little bit, make sure he's keeping second place at least. This is only 2 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock. Mate Sheplo is catching up to this fight, but you would say from Mate Sheplo, hey, I just want to be in the A final, you guys fight up ahead. As Jim Paris is dropping back from Soren now, and you would say that Soren is actually in a gap where he can start doing the racing lines, and he can start pulling away. Jan Lehmann's good down the inside of Jim Paris now, the championship leader. And Jan Lehmann does push him to the outside, and it is all fair and square as Jan Lehmann does go into second. So Jim Paris is dropping to 3rd. Jim Paris now is the chaser, as now we go across the line. Jim Paris goes to the outside. He's not going to get a back cut there. Jan Lehmann surely to the inside. He's surely going to defend. He's only half defending. Jim goes to the inside. He looks to the inside. He is on the inside. Here we go. There's a bit of contact, and Jan Lehmann gets a bit of a spin on, man. Now under pressure from Mate Sheplo. Sheplo into 3rd. That was a good move from Jim Paris, though. Nothing wrong there, I would say. Jan does take it back immediately, as, yes, Sheplo does keep it. Now, there is a bit of pressure behind Max Andrews. Now, Max Andrews, I haven't heard this name before, but sitting in 5th place, what, fantastic form. I did say in the qualifying, good form there from Max Andrews. I did expect well of him. Looking back through the order there, we've got to speak at the moment. So as we look to the fight front, as Max Andrews just get a bit of spin there as well. But he is looking now towards possibly a top 3 for the A final. But let's look down the order. We've got Soren from Jim Paris, as Jan Lehmann's in 3rd. Mate Sheplo in a fantastic 4th. And Max Andrews, I'm really impressed with that, in 5th. Max Charlton in 6th. We've got Peter Montan, welcome back to the championship, Peter, in 7th. Dennis Oikomoidis in 8th. And Leon Blundell, who started last, by the way, now in 9th position. And we've got Brandon in 10th. In 11th, I believe, we got KBP. 12th, Andres Lanzares, and Magic Rex, who looks like he got caught up a little bit. Mind you, look at his lap times, Magic Rex. He's 13 seconds off the pace at the moment. So what that tells me is that as we see a spin there, who's that? That's Mate Sheplo. I'm just looking at the order now. Mate Sheplo's caught my eyes. He's dropping back the positions now. No, Mate. That was a fantastic 4th place, but he's dropping like a brick there, and it looks like, oh no, he's been hit again. Trying to rejoin, and it looks like he's dropping back. That's 12th position. 12th position for Sheplo. And now it's 13th, in fact. That's disappointing. I'd have to see what happened there? I'm not sure what happened there at the moment. Very disappointing, I would say. As Peter Montani looks like he is now in 5th position. There's Max Charlton in 6th. As he goes down the inside, now he is 5th. And Dennis Oikemon is there in 7th position. So we are on the last lap, actually, as I look at the time at the top. Soren with a clear lead from Jim Paris coming through. As we see action all the way down. It's very good racing, I would say. Very clean racing. They're giving each other space. This is a very wide track. But going back to the front, it's going to be another sprint win for Soren. And looking at his lap time, it's currently a 15.5, but he might improve on it this lap. He's had time. Will he improve on it as he comes across the line to win the first sprint race of the day? And he does improve on it with a 15.2. A 15.2 the drivers will be looking for in that second sprint race. Jim Paris is coming across the line to finish second. Yard Limited third. A great fight at the front and a great fight down the order. You have to feel for Mate Shepherd, though. He was in 4th position. I just don't know what happened to him there, but I'm sure we'll hear all about it. Coming across the line, though, we got Max Andrews in 4th, Max Charlton 5th, Peter Montani in 6th, Dennis Oikemon in 7th, Leon Blindell an impressive 8th, considering he had to start at the back, KBP in 9th, Mate Shepherd finishing 10th in the end, with Magic Rex in 11th, Brandon in 12th, and Andres Lanzardis, now a driver, I think, he made the A final, Andreas, but now he's unfortunately at the back, and he'll have to come from the back of the B final forward, so we'll see what happened with him. But honestly, what a clean race as well, I would say. That was a really clean race to watch. And hopefully we're going to get more of that in the second sprint. So join us again in about 5 minutes' time for Sprint 2. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Split 2. Honestly, what a first race. We saw so much action from that first race. I don't even know how to categorize it, but I just hope that we get that in this second split now, because that was a tough group, I would say. You know, having Jan Lehmann's, Jim Paris's, and Soren, the two championship leaders. Now, the reason the two championship leaders were in the same group is because we're still counting the points for the full 8 rounds, and Pierre Ligio actually has completed 8 rounds, while Soren and Jim have only done 7. So that meant that Pierre Ligio actually, on total points, was the B-seeded driver, the top seed, the second place in the championship. So he is first in the B split. So that's why we saw that. But to have those two in a race was fantastic to see. But Soren was the driver that came out on top by quite a distance as well. But we're looking in this race for a 15-2. And Baptiste van der Brugge, you would say, is the favourite now to challenge Soren for that pole position, and Nikotic as well. But he hasn't been close to that sort of time in practice. So to bring that in this sprint race, I would say is a different game. But we've only got a minute now till we get underway. We're waiting for a couple of drivers. It's going to be another full 15 driver split. We're expecting, and we're missing 3 drivers, but we had a full 15 drivers in the last heat. So we're going to have easily a lot of drivers for this B and A final today. And, you know, it's going to be a really interesting A final, I'd say, just looking at that first race. This track is hard. I think it's one of the hardest tracks we've had on the calendar so far. People are not used to this track. A lot of tracks that we saw in Season 1 did return for Season 2. And we see the ACK regulars doing well on it. But now, for this track, it's almost all drivers starting on an even footing. And, you know, we've definitely seen with drivers just not quite getting on the pace, but Soren, the only driver that managed to get into that 14 second range, 1 minute 14 range. So we've got 15 seconds to the start of qualifying, and we'll get underway. At the moment, you know, looking towards the top drivers, we've got Adam Sherpa in this heat, Ben Paynes. Now, welcome back, Ben Paynes, to ACK, a driver who I would have put him down as a top contender for the title, but he tells me he's just too busy. Maybe in Season 3 he'll be less busy and he can challenge for that title. But we got also Thibaut van Kruckelsven, a driver who challenged for the title in Season 1, and he didn't decide to return for Season 2. He's been busy from what I hear, but he's given it a go again. So maybe this might be the first sort of sign that he's going to commit to it for Season 3. You know, get these sort of early laps in. But we're just waiting for the start of qualifying here. And we're going to get it now. Yes, so we're missing 1 or 2 drivers, but not drivers that you would consider for pole position. All the pole position candidates, I would say, are in as we get going. Pierre Ligio looks like he's going to be first. No, Nikotic is actually the first at the pit lane, and he's got a clear lead there. Surely with this, you just want to just keep going. Just driving at full pace, getting used to that track, as he does go off a little bit there. Just getting used to the conditions and making sure he's ready for this lap. Going around, Pierre Ligio following closely by. Pierre Ligio is an interesting candidate for possibly pole position today, but he drives in virtual reality, which, you know, if you actually go and watch his live stream, it's really interesting to see ACK from, well, you know, we're watching from above here in the broadcast room, but to watch it in virtual reality is definitely something different. So I'd really recommend going to watch him. And you also got Harry Power. Harry Power now, I believe, is streaming on TikTok, so I believe his name is Diamond Bogart, so go give him a follow and watch his perspective on this race, as that'll be interesting, I'm sure, as well. But we've got other drivers as well. Lewis Cook taking his debut now. Lewis Cook, a fairly unknown driver now to ACK, but I believe he's experienced in real life, so we'll see how he performs today. A few more new names as well. Welcome to JRR, who is joining championship. Don't know your full name. We've got Nye returning, yeah, let's see how this goes. As the drivers now coming around, all drivers are on track for their qualifying. JR, I would say, is very far away, only sort of starting his warm-up lap as Nikotic is coming around. So Nikotic will be the driver to start qualifying for us. Now, Nikotic, you put in the top 2 for this race for sure, but we'll see how it goes. He comes around very wide entry into that corner, but he's using all the track, as you can see. He's got all the grip in the world to do it, and it's a clean-looking first sector so far. Coming around the section, Baptiste van der Brugge, the controller player, by the way, I must say, Baptiste van der Brugge, in second place coming around. And also, I have to say out loud, whilst I just remembered, happy birthday to Harry Power, who is racing ACK on his birthday. Now, that is a a great choice of something to do on your birthday, I would say. So hopefully the rest of his day goes really well after this race and doesn't fall into any issues. But as we now come around, the fastest sector of Sector 1 goes to Lewis Cook. Actually, that's interesting. Lewis Cook, a debutant to ACK, fastest first sector as Nico Titch comes across a very good second sector, I'd say at the moment, as Adam Sherpa takes the fastest second sector. But now we're watching for Lewis Cook. Now, Lewis Cook, could he take a surprise pole position here on his first ever try at ACK? Now, that would be a story, I would say, for his first ever sprint race. As we know, Lewis Cook comes across. It's not a fastest second sector. It's 4/10 down on Adam Sherpa, but it's going to be a fight now for pole. Who can come across line? So we're going to see Nico Titch. Nico Titch takes the fast lap, 15.7. That's a fantastic lap time. What's it going to be? Baptista doesn't match it, drops a second. Adam Sherpa drops the third. He cannot match. And Nico Titch is half a second off. And next up is Nye coming across the line. Nye, and he drops the fifth. Tebow goes to fourth. Ben Payne's the next driver. Ben Payne's and Lewis Cook and Nye in a line. Lewis Cook only fifth fastest, and he had the fastest first sector. Now, it's only a short first sector, but that's a disappointing third sector there from Lewis Cook. Maybe he should have been higher up the order. Harry Power, only 8th position on a time where he needs to score points against Marte Sheplo, who also ran into issues in that first race. And we're waiting for one driver now, and it's JRR coming round. What can his lap time be? It's his ACK debut. How far can he push? Comes across the line, finishes, and he's into 9th. So it looks like Nye had an issue on that last lap as he was 15 seconds down on all the other drivers. But that's your order. We got Nico Titch on pole, followed by Baptista van der Breggen, Adam Sherpa in third, with Thibaut van Kroekelsven in fourth. Lewis Cook. Now, you know, I was disappointed Lewis Cook there a little bit. Fastest first sector. I was really egging him on to get that pole position. But, you know, 5th fastest is pretty good. It's an A final position at the moment. So we'll see how that goes. Pierre Ligier, though, the mod creator, the reason we're all here in a way, in 6th position. And Ben Payne's, now Ben Payne's messaged me and he said that, you know, he hasn't practiced at all. As actually, you know, we get underway. It's a very short time here to start the race. But Nico Titch will get a better start from Baptista van der Breggen. Now, Baptista, will he work with Nico Titch? Nico Titch does go defensive down the back straight, and Baptista goes to the outside. Are they going to work together to work towards that front of that A final? Will they fight? Baptista looks to the inside. Is he going to commit to it? He sort of commits to it, but Nico Titch does go wide as Baptiste now has the inside, and Baptiste takes the lead of this sprint race as it looks clean going through the section. There's a little bit of side contact at the back there, but everybody survived it as we go to another hairpin. There's a very clean start. Very impressed with this. As we now go side by side, Adam Sherpa, he can't quite get through there as Nico Titch holds on to second. Thibaut goes for the dive, and it's a good move, and he goes up into third. Adam Sherpa fights back. It's like they're fighting in real life. As, yes, Thibaut holds on to third. Adam Sherpa goes for another dive, and it's a good move, yes. As we see a little bit better there, Ben Payne's sliding in, letting Lewis Cook off the side. Don't even know what to comment on here, I'm seeing so much. Adam Sherpa, though, holds on to third. As we go through, it's a clear lead there from Baptista van der Breggen. Nico Titch settling in second. Coming through now, third place, Adam Sherpa. Fourth from Thibaut van Kroekelsven. Now, these drivers, they're in A final position. Surely they're not going to fight too much. We're seeing a big gap there between Sherpa and Titch at the moment as we come on to the second lap. Only 3.5 minutes to go, and that was the first lap. It's going to be very long laps in this race, I would say. The Joker laps, I will say, in the A and B finals will be very interesting. Coming through there, everybody sort of survived. Everyone's within 9 seconds of each other. The back looks like they're still side by side towards the back at the moment. And we see there's a car upside down. I don't even know what that is. That's Lewis Cook who's upside down out of the car. And yeah, that was a bit of something. As we see 9 now go down the inside. And oh, that was a very risky move there. Going back, I can't get over that. I'm just looking at it back on stream now, and I don't know who caused that. I think that will probably be investigated before the start of the B final. Pierre Ligier de Santi does manage to survive on that, and he's on the outside now of Nye, going around, and Nye is holding up Pierre Ligier here. Pierre Ligier, the driver who has done all 8 rounds, and he needs to beat, I believe his 12th position is his worst, is his drop round at the moment. So if he can beat 12th position overall today, he will score more points for his championship. But as we're seeing now, a little bit of friendly look, well, not very friendly look in there, but JRR is going to look down the inside of Pierre Ligier, and he does, and it's a good move. A good move there from JRR on his ACK debuts. Pierre Ligier's dropping back like a brick at the moment. As we see now, Baptista van der Breggen start. I know they're still side by side. In fact, Baptista van der Breggen though is still leading us now by a considerable distance. We're just looking towards the lap times here. 15.8 from Baptista, so it's still half a second off Soren's best time. So Soren is in the preferred position at the moment for starting that A final in first. But Pierre Liescher does go around the outside there, and he holds and he beats JRR to that first set of corners. As we now go around, fastest lap from Adam Sherpin, by the way, 15.6. And looks like it is enough to go ahead of Jan Lemmens in for the front rows of that A final. All the drivers, within sort of range. No, I just see Harry Power at the moment. Harry Power is down in last position. Well, not last position, but he's in 10th. He has dropped off quite a lot at the moment. Very disappointing to see from the other silver tier contender for the titles. Sheplo and Power will be fighting through that B final. And you'd have to start to think about other drivers in the championship. You think about drivers like Dennis Oykomoidis, who actually is not that far behind Harry Power and Marty Shepard. They just weren't considered for. As we see 9 now defend from Pierre Liescher, and very good defending, I will say, and holds on to it really well there. But Pierre Liescher is pressuring now. He looks like he is the faster of the drivers at the moment. Coming around, Baptista just sets a 15.236. That looks like it's enough for pole position in the A final, if he can win the sprint race, that is, at the moment. Looking through the order now, Pierre Liescher does cleanly get ahead of Nye there. Great move, and maybe back up towards the A final where he needs to be. As we're now looking down the order, just trying to find Harry Power. I don't know what happened to him there. I think he was involved in that contact where Lewis Cook was upside down. Hope he's alright after that incident, I would say. But we are on the last lap here. Nikotic has actually closed in on Baptista van der Rikke at the moment. As we go back to the front here, we follow the front leaders, and I just see someone on the grass there. That is Adam Sherpit at the moment, and Minisham is going to be in the way here. So is he going to get out the way cleanly? He hits the wall, funny enough, but he does, yes, keep out the way. We are on the last lap here, though. I'm just studying the lap times here. No better sectors there from Baptista, so that is his best lap, 15.2. Looks like it's good enough for pole. But he comes on the final corner. Baptista will take the sprint race 2 win, and looks like pole position for that A final. Nico Tish in second, Adam Sherpin, the Tebow finishing in 4th. Fantastic racing. Ben Paynes, no practice, in 5th place. That's an A final spot if I've ever seen it. Fantastic. Pierre Liescher finishing 6th. We've got Nye in 7th. JRR, great effort from him in 8th. Lewis Cook managed to recover from being upside down to finish 9th, and Harry Power in 10th with Zach Minisham finishing 11th. So, well, what an interesting race. I'll have to go back and watch that upside down thing again. That was definitely something. But what another great sprint race, and we've got 2 fantastic finals here, the B and A final. I think the B final is going to be a bit crazy, but we'll see what happens. So, join us in about 10 to 15 minutes time for the B final, where I don't even know what's going to happen. So join us soon. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It's the B final. Sorry for the short break we had. We had to make sure everybody was in the right positions, no penalties were given out to certain drivers, but we're back now for the B final, and we're waiting on 3 drivers at the moment. One of them is Harry Power. Now, Harry Power's got a minute to join. Always going to be an issue. You know, he's fighting Marty Sheplo, and he needs to get in at the moment, and he's not here, and that's going to be music to Marte Sheplo's ears, I'm sure, as we're waiting now, less than a minute to go to the start of this race. We've got JRR who's just joined, and Harry Power's not in. That's the main story at the moment. 45 seconds to go, but we've seen 2 fantastic sprint races so far, I've got to say. Action-packed, and I'm expecting this B final to be something else. And I really am expecting that A final to be something, I'm telling you, as we got Soren, who's actually been taken off pole position by Baptista van der Brugge, the controller player. But you know, looking down this order, there's a couple of drivers who I expected more from, I will say, at the moment. And unfortunately, you know, they've had a difficult day. And, you know, looking down the order, Andres Lanzardis, you know, I know he's only 10 years old and he's learning, but he was in the A final last round, so I'm expecting a lot from him. But no Harry Power as we go for 6 red lights, and we're going to start the race, and we are going now. The race has started, and driver not getting away well there. That looks to me like, can't see it, Lewis Cook, who was upside down in the last race, surprised he even survived this race, but a clean getaway there from Knight. Now remember, in this race, the top 2 drivers will go to the A final. So looking at the moment, it's a clean getaway there from Knight and Dennis Oykunboydis. And they've got 20 minutes to race here. And don't forget, 2 Joker laps each driver has to make as they come round. And it's a good start from most drivers. A very scrappy in between there. Lewis Cook does send a move down the inside, but it looks like it's okay. Coming round, I see a driver who's dropped back and looks like Leon Blindell, but Leon Blindell, don't forget, you've got 20 minutes. We see it fight for the lead there. Dennis Oykunboydis now. Another silver driver who's fighting for the TS. We're seeing lots of contact here coming through, but Dennis Oykunboydis takes the lead. Lewis Cook there tries to get through and doesn't make it happen. As now, are these drivers going to fight? Are they fighting for the chance to get in the B final? Harry Power does end up joining, but he's a lap down at the moment, or will almost be a lap down. That's disappointing from him. Coming round, Dennis Oykunboydis now coming through. Still in the lead. He does half defend, but he does leave it open. Knight doesn't go down the inside, and Knight gets a bit of oversteer there, and he's going to drop back because of that. So Dennis Oykunboydis has a bit of space now to work with. And as they go down the back straight, we're going to finish the first lap. Harry Power, unfortunately, is a lap down, but he's going to get on with it. There is things to fight for here, so hopefully Harry doesn't get in the way too much as we see the fight for the top 3 here. Fantastic to see coming through. Dennis Oykunboydis half defending as Knight now does look down the inside, doesn't quite get it, a little bit of contact, but he slots in behind just fine. Dennis Oykunboydis now to the inside, steering a lot earlier as we see Lewis Cook now. Lewis Cook fighting for the... Lewis Cook goes on the inside of both of them, and he takes the lead, and Knight goes through with him. Fantastic, what a move, and we're going to have a fight here now for the top drivers in this A final. Coming through now, who will decide to go for the Joker laps first? This will be the first opportunity they can do the Joker lap. No drivers took the Joker lap on that first lap, which is great to see. They read the briefing notes, which is the most important thing, really, as Lewis Cook now has to defend. Nye is still in second place, unfortunately. He did try and go for the move, but it just backfired on him, and he let another driver start in third now. As Lewis Cook's on the grass there, or whatever it is, the sand even, it's a strange colour, but coming through, Lewis Cook does take the lead. No, Nye takes the lead, finally. Dennis Oykunboydis now is the driver on the back foot, as Lewis and Nye are the drivers possibly going to that A final. Now, will this trigger any drivers to pit early? As Nye actually goes very oversteering there, coming through. They're going to start the 3rd lap. Coming round as Lewis Cook to the inside. Will this trigger Nye to pit? Coming down the back straight, Nye doesn't. He does, in fact, he does go in for his Joker lap. As now, will this be clean? Coming through. This is very risky to be one of the leaders coming through. Nye comes through. It's a very tight pit lane here. Now coming out onto the exit of the Joker. Will it be a good finish? And yes, it looks good for now. So now Nye is going to be the driver. Now we've got to watch these lap times as Dennis Oykunboydis and Lewis Cook go off into the distance with KBP not very far behind. There's a lot of drivers here in the shout for the A final, and I think we're going to start to see some strategy come out. But you'd expect these 2 drivers to say, hey, you know, we've seen Marty Sheplo pit. Now Nye has pitted, and we should really work together here to make that a final. If these two fight, Nye will probably take the lead of the race at the moment. So if they're listening to the live stream, these two, they're probably going to be smarter just getting on with it. But then also you look at KBP following behind. You know, if anybody fights here, they risk dropping out of that chance to get into the A final. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens now. As we're going to head on towards the third lap here, will anybody decide to bet? It's a long lap here. We're already 4 minutes through. We're only on lap 3. Coming through. It's a clean lead there from Lewis Cook. He's driving fantastically. As we do see, Lewis Cook comes in now. He's reacting, and so does Dennis. So the top 3 for possibly the wins here. Coming through. Oh, no, it's a crash in the pit lane, and Lewis Cook, he's holding up all the drivers, and Magic Red gets through on it, and it's a disaster. Nike through, they're all stuck in the pit lane. We expected to see this. It's a tight pit lane. Yeah, no, that's... he's hit the barrier, and he's really wrecked the chance of a lot of drivers, and Lewis Cook still stuck in the barrier. It's gone from bad to worse for him today. As all the drivers decided to pit on that lap, but looking now back down the order, Andros Lonzades, who hasn't pitted yet, but he's in with a shot here. Nye has a clear lead. Dennis Hoyt didn't lose the most time, I would say. It's strange that everybody reacted to that. KBP was one driver who didn't react to it, and he might have a shot at the 8th final here, as we see Magic Rex and Martin Sheplo on screen fighting, but that's blown the race wide open, and I'm telling you, that's something that's going to happen in this A final. I can tell you, there's definitely going to be a driver that decides to pit and just gets it wrong and hits the barrier, and that you have to ask the question, you know, there's not a lot of laps to do it here for 2 Joker laps either, so there are going to be drivers who are going to have to double stack, but you're going to have to trust the driver in front to just not crash. Basically, we saw Jim Paris's, I think he's going to hate me for bringing this up, but we saw Jim Paris's crashing in the pit lane at Spa, costing him a win. There we saw Theo Rafter, who unfortunately isn't here today. We saw Theo Rafter crashing at the last round as well, which was disappointing to see. No drivers doing jokers on that lap. Coming through though, Martin Sheplo is actually in with a shout here as well of an A final spot if he can just keep driving. Andros Lonzades is taking his first stop here, and he's going to come out. He does make a little bit of contact with the barrier, but it's going to be clean out the pit lane, and he goes side by side with Dennis Oykomoides, but Dennis Oykomoides gets the better run because he has the inside. At the moment, I can't tell you who's the second driver possibly getting through at the moment. It's been blown wide open, and what is another clippable moment of ACK just crashing in the pit lane, such a common theme. You know, drivers, they should be practicing these things. They should be doing, you know, if not, I would say 20 to 30 before the start of an event, just to make sure they know exactly how it's done. Marty Shepard and Magic Rex here following each other along. Both haven't pitted yet. If they pit together and do their joker laps, they also run that risk of crashing. The race has calmed down now, though, and it looks like to me, Nye has a very clear lead here, and he can just cruise on a little bit. Sitting only with a 16.8 is his fastest lap, so he does need to up the pace a little bit if he wants to almost secure the win. Because there are drivers behind who are going quicker, including Martin Sheplo with a 16.2 as he comes through. And we do see a joker up there, and that is Martin Sheplo. Now Martin Sheplo coming through. He decides to go quite early on it. Be interesting to see, is there going to be no crashes this time? There's no crashes as we come out, and it's going to be a rejoin. There's no drivers on track, so it's going to be an easy rejoin from him. So that's his first joker lap, and he's still in 4th place as we're seeing fighting now. And this is Lewis Cook on JR. Now Lewis Cook was fighting for the win just 5 minutes ago, and now he's fighting JRR for 7th. So is Lewis Cook still in the running? I'm not sure at the moment, but you know, lots to be happening as JRR goes back down the inside of him, and yes, that's a good move as these 2 British drivers are fighting at the moment. Leon Blundell as well, just fighting around the outside, catching up, should I say. Had an unfortunate sprint race at the moment. They're still fighting. In fact, these 2 drivers, JRR's having none of it as they go down the inside. Surely again, Lewis Cook. Yes, he does, and he gets the lead again. These drivers not working together, with, you know, with 12 minutes to go, and still so many stops to go. You would say, you know, is it worth fighting? As we see a bit of contact there from Lewis Cook. Now, just push JR to the side a little bit. I would say it was okay, at least from what I saw. But you know, we'll have to see that later, as he's now created a clear gap to JR in front. Now, let's start from the top. We've got KBP. In fact, no, Magic Rex is in the pits now. So let's see where Magic Rex can come out here. Is he going to come out? He's going to come out alongside Sheplo. It's going to be very close. And he does rejoin ahead. And it's quite a dangerous rejoin, but Marte does, yeah, he is okay from that. It's not too bad. But this is another thing we're going to see in the A finals. Very, very close rejoins. You know, drivers that cut to the inside, definitely risking penalties. But it looked okay for now. And I would say at the moment, it is a fight between Nye, Sheplo, Magic Rex, and Dennis Oykoboidis all fighting for that A final. So we'll see what happens with 11 minutes to go. I would say Lewis Cook at the moment, he spent a long time in that pit lane. He definitely could be out of this, and it's damage limitation from him now, as he just tries to score as many points as he can. But we're halfway through this race. Starting from the top now, let's follow through. KBP, with a clear lead, he hasn't pitted yet. He's still got 2 jokers to go, but he's setting good lap times, I would say, and they're definitely quicker than Nye, who's just behind. So you put KBP in with a shot of making the A final at the moment, but it's going to be close. As we see now, KBP comes through with a 17.0 on his last lap, and Nye comes through with a 17.2, so yes, KBP goes faster again. So KBP out there on a mission here. And in fact, no, KBP is in the pit lane on this lap. He's coming through for his joker, and he's going to rejoin side by side with Nye, but Nye goes back ahead. This could be the fight for the A final. This could be the top 2 right there. That's the standards. We see Nye now coming around, still leading. Overtakes the back marker there as the back marker goes around. We see Magic Rex now possibly in the fight for this thing. Thank you to the back marker for getting out of the way, as we see a very intense race here for the spot in the A final. I haven't seen it this open in a while, as Magic Rex decides to take him behind the back marker, and now he gets ahead. Thank you for moving out the way, the back marker. As we're now coming through with just 9 minutes to go, I just cannot call who's going to be that A final, but I would say Nye is the favourite at the moment to make that A final, alongside a fantastic group of drivers, I must say. I'm really looking forward to this A final coming through. So here we go. Fastest lap, by the way, to Marte Shepard on that last lap, 16.2. It's great to see. And Justin Gonzalez is dropping pace at the moment. He's dropped 2 seconds on that last lap. Now, he must have had an issue. I don't know what it was, but we definitely have to look into it. And Justin Gonzalez, unfortunately, you know, he's only 10 years old. So, you know, it's already fantastic to see such young drivers take part in the championship, and he's got a bright future ahead of him if he managed to make the A final the last round. But it just hasn't worked for him at this track. I'm not sure why. As we see Lewis Cook take the fastest sectors in the first and last sector, he's definitely on a mission together. It's probably going to be a case of what if for Lewis Cook, I would say at the moment, as we do see a joker lap there from a driver, Dennis Oykoboidis and Andreas Lonzardis in for his last stop. Now this will be interesting to see where Dennis comes out. Dennis does come out behind Marte Sheplo, but Sheplo's got 1 joker lap to go at the moment. As now a very slow stop there from Andreas Lonzardis looking on screen, but he is now back out into the race. Yeah, unfortunate from Andreas Lonzardis. I expected a little bit more from him, but to finish last in his sprint race, you know, something must have gone on, so we'll have to look into it. And I know he'll be disappointed, but listen, you know, he's gotten better, and he's scored more points at every single round he's competed in so far. So I'm sure he'll be back again. So we see a move there from JRR, Lewis Cook once again. These 2 drivers are still fighting. Now, we saw this at the last round between 2 drivers, where they were just fighting from the end of the B final through to the A final, and that was the top 2 at the time. So, as we see a message there from the server saying speed up please to Zach. Now that was not me, I must say, so someone on the coordination team's definitely got a sense of humour today coming through. JRR though holding the inside there to Lewis Cook. This is a great battle for 7th at the moment. So now Lewis Cook goes to the inside, he's going to have the inside surely. JRR looking at his mirrors, he doesn't take it off him. Great to see there. It does say contact, but it wasn't contact on my screen at least. As now Nye still out in a clear lead, still yet to take his last stop. We're seeing Sheplo now. No, Sheplo didn't stop that up. I'm corrected. As we're now following through. We're waiting on 9. At the moment, looking on top of it, it's going to be Sheplo. I would say is in the virtual 2nd place, with Dennis Oykoboidis not very far behind. Now, he's only 3 seconds behind Marte Sheplo. And this could be the fight then for the last spot in that A final. As we're still seeing Lewis Cook and JR fight here. Once you get stuck on a driver, it's impossible to get out of the way. So, yeah, and JR's defending even. As we can see now go side by side through all these sets of hairpins. Quite an awkward set of corners, I would say, with these medium speed. You know, you don't really get a chance to get away from the driver as now they're coming through. We've only got 6.5 minutes left here. We're only 9 laps, so 9 laps in what's been 14 minutes of racing. It's a very long track here at karting Vendrell in Spain. As now coming through with 6 minutes to go, and JR still defending, and it's always that case of if you defend, you just go really wide. Lewis Cook actually goes through there. Great move Great move around the outside there, JR. And will he get away now? Maybe JR must start to think, hey, we need to work together. We need to score as many points as we can for the championship. And look like Lewis has got a nice little gap there. Can he drive away from it? That's the question. As Nye didn't pit on the last lap again, the front three drivers are just driving together, doing the exact thing they were asked to do. With KBP actually fastest lap of a 16.1 on that last lap, so almost in the 15 club, which you'd expect from an A finalist. And yeah, Lewis Cook now looks like he's got a nice clean breeze there, 0.7 of a second up on JRR. So looks like they finally saw that bad line. You see a driver on the grass there getting out of the way. Oh, and no, he's actually been kicked from the race. So yes, he's out at the moment. So following through now, we got top three leading. Martin Shepard was the driver behind that. Martin Shepard in with a shot. I think it's going to come down to a last minute joker lap from probably KBP or Magic Rex, and I think it's going to be about the rejoin. Hopefully our coordinators, because we've got a few in the server just watching, and hopefully they will oh, in fact no, JR's on the back of him. No, it was a bad move and he spun because of it. And Lewis Cook there, yes, he's extended his lead. It wasn't a great move from JR from what I can see. Just watch it back on the live stream now. It was a bit of a dive, I'll be honest. Yeah, it was a bit of a dive. Unfortunate, but he hasn't lost too much time. But both drivers have lost time. But back to what I was saying. I'm going to say this is, at the moment, Nye's got a clear lead. It's not great lead, but it's enough. And I think it's going to come down to a KBP and Magic Rex joker lap. And then Sheplo behind. And I think it's going to come down to that rejoin. And hopefully, I hope that the right drivers get through. And there's no contact. So hopefully the drivers are watching the live stream, they can hear that no contact, fellas, and we'll see who makes that A final. There's only 4.5 minutes to go now. Now, one risk a driver needs to make here is they need to watch the timer, because if they pit and there's less than a lap to go, Nye could cross that line, take the victory, but then he hasn't done 2 joker laps. So that would be frustrating for the drivers. There's still 3 drivers up front who need to pit. It's these 3. So they need to start looking at the timer. Maybe they are, once again, listen to this live stream, they need to start thinking about, right, it's not worth going together. We saw what happened to Lewis Cook crashing in the pit lane. You don't want to go with other drivers. So if you were Magic Rex right now, you'd be thinking, okay, maybe I go now, maybe I go later. Does he decide to go? No, he doesn't. The top 3 go again. 4 minutes to go. And it looks like 2 of these drivers are going to have to go in together. Now, that is risky, I would say, as they're looking to try and win an A final here. All on very good laps. But Martin Sheplo, still the fastest driver with a 16.127 out there, just following behind. He is faster of the 4. And maybe booking himself a spot in that A final, but who knows? Coming around, 3.5 minutes to go. A fastest first sector from Nye actually out in front, so he's finally found a little bit of pace here. He's half a second quicker than KBP on that last lap, so he's pulling out a little bit of a gap here as we see mistakes from behind. Magic Rex starting to close in on KBP, starting to get into that toe a little bit. We do have drafting in this series. It's part of the card, part of the mod. And now we're seeing Magic Rex right on the back of KBP there as he does make another mistake. Now this is the key question here. Does Magic Rex decide to go for it on track, or does he do it in the joke lap? Who will have the faster joke lap? That's the question. And for now, it looks like Magic Rex is staying with KBP. He's not putting his nose out or anything like that. He's taking definitely a tighter line to this. And in this corner as well, he's taking a tighter line with KBP each time. But this is the decision now. Will he decide to pit? Coming around the final corners. Now, very close to KBP. It's going to get very short notice if KBP decides to go for it. And we're going to find out they don't pit. Nobody pits. So with 2 minutes and 42 seconds, I would assume that they all have to take a joker on this last lap, if I'm right in saying. Now, the race coordination team will know more about this than me, but I do believe that all these drivers are yet to pit. I do need to check on that. But I'm sure my race direction team will tell me if they've done more than 1 joker lap. But at the moment, I do believe they have to stop. But now let's focus on this fight. Magic Rex is moving with KBP. Will he decide to go for a move at any point? Doesn't he? Takes that thin line once again. A little bit of contact. That's only because KBP is going wide. Definitely the slower of the 2 at the moment, especially through the sectors as well. As Nykilan finally gets a 16.0 on his fastest lap. So he's pulling away. It doesn't look like it. As KBP starts to bow to the pressure now of Magic Rex. Coming through. Around. So Magic Rex loses a bit of ground there to KBP. Maybe starting to think about it as we're coming through now towards these final laps. And I think we will get another lap of racing if Nye can come around in 1 minute and about 30 seconds. Yes, we will get 2 laps of racing here as they come around. What decision will be made now as we come through? as they go across the line. And there's no joker lap there taken. So maybe it's a case of they've all done it. I'm not sure at the moment. I might have to look over this with the coordination team. But maybe it is a case they've all done their joker laps. But we're all gonna get 2 laps of racing here. As Magic Rex now just sizing up KVP, seeing where he's making mistakes, maybe thinking that's where he goes. He does go thinner again. Now he goes alongside. And he doesn't decide to take it, and now he's down the inside. A little bit of contact, but friendly contact, and KVP does get the better of it. At the moment, Mate Sheplo still putting in fastest laps, 15.8 on that last lap. He's working hard at this, Mate Sheplo. So let's see what happens on these final laps of the P final here at ACK round 9. It's been a fantastic event so far. We've seen so much action already, and I'm telling you, this A final is not to be missed. It's going to be something special. You know, the title fight at the front, and drivers who are just getting in the way, you know, stealing points off the championship leaders, and you know, drivers fighting for that top 5 of the championship as well. And we're still seeing the silver title as well. It needs to be sorted with Dennis Oykomoidis and of course Martin Sheplo. And coming through, it's going to be one more lap of racing here. Let's see what happens as we now come through. And yes, it's going to be nobody pitted. So maybe this was a case. This now is the fight for the A final. Nye's got a clear lead up front. Magic Rex needs to overtake, and he does. He's on the grass there, but I would say he was loaded. Looking back on it, he was definitely loaded into the corner at the moment. I will need to look into that. KBP, you know, it's hard to tell on the live stream. It does look like a bit of loading. What will the coordination team decide on that? Still looking back on it, it's clearly for Magic Rex. But I don't know what to say at the moment. Very hard to say from that. It'll have to be reviewed after the race, as we see Lanzadas and Dennis Oykomoidis fighting there, but they both go on the grass. Lanzadas does give the position back to Dennis Oykomoidis, which is great to see coming through. But we're following now these final laps here. Nye has, you know, he missed out on the A final last time, which is unfortunate. But it looks like this time he's set to make that A final. Dennis Oykomoidis still ahead of Angelo Lanzadas there. Magic Rex though coming through. Looks like he's going to take the P final alongside Nye. But here comes Nye. He's driven well all race. He bowed to the pressure. Wins the B final. Now Magic Rex in second. I'm sure that'll be looked at with KBP finishing third. Mate Sheplo, unfortunately, got caught up in some issues during the race, finishing in fourth, but a great recovery from him, some great laps. Lewis Cook, unfortunately, you know, crushing the pit lane. He should have been up there in contention with Dennis Wilkins behind him. We've got Andres Lanzadas still fighting Dennis here. In fact, we don't even know where Dennis. Andres Lanzadas goes on the inside. It's a great move. Dennis now to the outside. A little bit of contact there, but friendly contact as they go around, goes to the switchback. Doesn't work. He places his car in the right place, Andres. Only 10 years old, remember. Round the inside, hooks the inside, and he's going to come across the line. He's going to finish second, in fact, here. And finishing there with Leon Blindell and JRR, who unfortunately fell back in that race. But what an interesting race, I would say. But I believe it is Magic Rex and Nye who made it to the A final, but we'll find out. But you don't want to miss this A final. It's going to be fantastic. We'll be back in just over 5 minutes for that A final. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to round 9. It's the A final. Honestly, what a day of racing we've had so far. I'm expecting an amazing A final here on ACK. It's been an interesting season, but this is where it really hots up now. It's only 2 rounds to go for some of these drivers to sort out their championships. Unfortunately, we saw Sheplo, Dennis Oikomoides, and Harry Power drop out in the B final, so their points are secured. But it's all to play for in the gold categories. Almost all the top 10 in the championship are taking part in this A final with some surprises. You look at drivers like Max Carlton and Max Andrews, 2 drivers who, it's their ACK debuts, some of them. And, to be this high up against, some drivers who've been driving this kart now for, well, we're in July, been driving it since December. That's fantastic to see. And the return of Ben Paynes as well. But if you want to get involved with ACK, please join the community. All the links are in the description. It's been, an amazing season so far, and we're already looking out towards season 3, but we've got so much to sort out here in season 2, and then we can finally put pen to paper on season 3. But looking at this grid, Baptista van der Breggen, the driver who's so proud to be taking part in ACK on a controller, on pole position. And we've got Soren, the driver who is trying to fight Jim Paris for the championship in second. But Jim Paris, the championship leader himself, is in third, and to be honest with you, that's exactly where he needs to be. He just needs to be within earshot of Soren for these last 2 rounds, and it's a championship for him. But Nico Titch in fourth. Nico Titch, a driver who you never quite see him leading these races, but he's always there in that top 5, Nico Titch. Maybe just through bad luck, but, today might be his day. Adam Sherbet, always, as I say, the fantastic Adam Sherbet in 5th. Had a bad last round, so now we're expecting more from him in this round. Jarne Lemons, 3rd in the championship, and now 6th place on the grid for this race. He wants to secure top 3 in the championship. And yes, here we are, Max Andrews in 7th. What a race from him. Thibaut van Kronkelsveld, a driver who took part mostly in season 1, has returned for this race. Maybe he's starting to look towards season 3, and can he mount a championship challenge with these sort of test around, should you say. Ben Paynes, a fantastic Ben Paynes. What can you say about him? Barely practiced for this race, and now he's starting 9th on the grid in the A final. Max Carlton in 10th. And we got Beto Montane in 11th. Great result from him. Welcome back to the championship, Beto. With the 2 B final winners of 9 and Magic Rex in 12th and 13th. And in fact, Pierre Ligio actually is in there in 10th place, I believe. He just isn't showing. 11th place, should I say. Just isn't showing on at least my timing screens. So here we go, 10 seconds before the start of the A final. It's been another fantastic race, but let's have an amazing A final. Here we go, it's 6 red lights in ACK, and we are away. Who will get the better start here? It's a clean start there from Baptista. Soren does tuck in behind, in front of Jim Paris and behind Baptista. Baptista has a nice little bit of breathing room there as he takes a racing line coming through to start this race now. Will all the drivers keep it clean? Jim Paris is to the inside there of Soren. Soren does cover him off as Baptista uses that momentum to go on to Baptista. He doesn't take it, and they're all into the grass, and Baptista's into the wall. Baptista from the lead. What happened there to him? As he's dropping back as Soren takes the lead now. Jim Paris is following just in behind as we're seeing lots of traction in. Baptista, what are you doing there? And we see all sorts of contact at the back. I just saw, who was that? I couldn't see it. But whoa, what a start there. Oh, that was a crazy start. But Soren, clear lead down there in the front. And it might be looking, I'm looking back at it now. We've got into grasses. Nico Titch now on the back of Jim Paris. Jim Paris is forced to defend a little bit there. Adam Sherbet now to the inside of Nico Titch. Going up into 3rd. Adam Sherbet now possibly in with a win. Thibaut van Kronkelsveld was the driver spinning around there and looked okay. From Mussy, there's all sorts going on in the midfield here. Nico Titch gets a little bit on the grass there. Jim Paris holds on to 2nd. Through all that pressure, and he needs to start catching Soren as he sees Soren flying away. Adam Sherbet though up to 3rd. What a great start from him, as we can't find Jarne Lemons. Ben Paynes actually is all the way up into 5th position from 8th. That's fantastic to see as Jim Paris now leads this little train, but Soren is our leader by a clean gap. Now, will any driver side take the pits? Yes, we see Adam Sherbet. Adam Sherbet goes early, and this is risky. He's going to come out in a lot of karts here. Gets a bit of oversteer in the pits as well. Coming round all sorts, left, right. And we're seeing loads of drivers, in fact, in the Jojo Club. I can't even tell you who. Adam Sherbet comes out, and he survives it. And we're seeing all sorts of join. And crazy rejoins there. Thibaut coming out. And yes, there we go. Jarne Lemons does survive the Jojo Club, okay. But we saw so many drivers there take it. Magic Rex, 9. Jarne Lemons, Adam Sherbet. Looks like Baptiste van der Breggen hasn't taken his Jojo Club, but he's back in the mix. And honestly, if you can pole it in a sprint race, you're more than capable of making your way back up the order. But that, you got a feel for him there. It looks like he just took a bit too much acceleration into that corner. But the race is calming down a little bit here with the choke collapse. So Soren with a 2.1 second lead there from Jim Paris as Nico Titch now following Jim. Now surely Nico Titch has got to be starting to think, okay, you know, I'm in a clean third place here. I've seen what happened in the B final. Just drive my race and see what happens. As Jim Paris now needs to get a move on. But very impressive of Jim Paris to be second place in the first place, to be honest with you, because, you know, he hasn't practiced a lot for this race. He's almost turned up on the day here. And Jim Paris comes in now. He wants to join that train. Will it be a good stop? Or a joke collapse, should I say. There's no stopping at this round as he gets it. Ah, no, he hits the wall again. It's all over again. And Ben Payne's in the pit lane with him. And there's all sorts here going on here. And Jim Paris is now. He's dropping back. Peter Montani's in the pit lane. Jim Paris is now. He has to go the wrong way. Down the pit lane to turn around. It's just too tight. And he's still driving around. Now he turns around. And now he's driving. And Jim Paris is the championship leader in the pit lane. And Soren, if he's listened to the stream, Soren, you know, Jim Paris has crashed in the pit lane. It's Spa all over again. Such an important time. And he shouldn't be dropping points now. Now, we have to start thinking about the championship a little bit here, because Soren, if he wins this race, and by the way, he has the fastest lap of the race by a clear lead, you start to think this is going to unravel for Jim Paris now. Well, you got a feel for him, but he just overcooked it. But I was concerned when he flicked to the right a bit too much. But yeah, this is very close stuff as Soren now with a clear lead out, 3.1 seconds. Will he get the news that Jim Paris has crashed? I don't know. But they're coming through now, and honestly, what set of laps here as Soren goes even quicker on that last lap, 15-1. Nico Titch with a clear second place here. Unfortunately, dropping back though, fastest lap, 3/10 off that last lap. So let's go from the top. Let's start from the top here. We've got Soren, followed by Nico Titch. Adam Sherpitt has gone back up to third. Max Carlton, a fantastic fourth place, but I think he's yet to stop, with Thibaut van Kook as well in fifth. Nye is the first of the pitters in sixth, with Max Andrews, Jan Leemans, Pierre Ligeot in ninth. Baptiste van der Breggen has moved him up to 10th, but yet to stop. Peter Montani in 11th, and he has stopped once. Ben Payne, Magic Rex, and then Jim Paris is, at the moment, in last place, in a time where he can't afford to be last, should I say. I don't know what this means for the championship. We need to look into it. But honestly, what a race so far. And, you know, we keep saying to these drivers, you have to practice the pit stops. As Thibaut does get through on Max Carlton, you have to practice these pit stops, because we've just seen a very controversial moment there in ACK. These pit stops are... And we see a crash there. Who is that? Looking back, that is Max Andrews, I believe, and he's facing the wrong way. You don't want to do a bad stop, and there's all sorts of cars coming around. Max Andrews does now recover as Peter Montani is the driver. Ben Payne did get caught up as well with Jim Paris. Here's Jim Paris is on track now. He's 11 seconds behind Magic Rex. He lost a lot of time, and he's going to be frustrated. And now it's about damage limitation. Now, he does take points from the sprint race, so we will get 2 points back from finishing second. But I don't know what to say at the moment. This is playing into Soren's hands. For Soren now, it's just a case of driving around for 19 minutes and seeing how far he can go. At the moment, as we're seeing all sorts now come through. So we're seeing a big pack there of Yanni Lemons from Pierre Ligeot de Sante, who the VR-based drivers. He gets a hit there from Baptiste, and they both spin around. That was a terrible move from Baptiste, and he can't rejoin. Ben Payne's there just going ahead, and Magic Rex, he does wait. Fair play to him, no bad regions there, but it goes from bad to... Well, it was already the worst case scenario, but it's even worse now for Baptiste van der Breggen, from crashing on the first lap to, well, crashing out with Pierre Ligeot there. It was definitely within Pierre Ligeot's right to stay on that corner, and yeah, he's dropped back now once again. So very frustrating there from Pierre Ligeot, and I'm sure, you know, go take a look at his stream. He will probably be very frustrated himself. I know he's a very, very fiery character in that car. I wouldn't want to race him in real life. But now, Soren, by the way, with the fastest lap of a 15-1, could be taking on that extra fastest lap point as well. It could be the second race in a row. He's won the sprint race, won the final, and also taken the fastest lap, which would be an unbelievable record, to be honest with you, at the moment. Nobody can even keep up with him at the moment. As we see now, a look down the inside there from Ben Paynes as Peter Matani thinks better of it and goes in for the Joker lap. So here we go. Will this be a cleaner stop? You need to slow down for this section. It's just the barriers grab you. And it is a good stop there from Peter Montani. Very smart. As he comes out, will there be anybody he rejoins with? No, he's into a clear little lead at the moment. Baptiste van der Breggen does take his first stop. And Jim Paris does go ahead of Baptiste. So Jim Paris has actually made back one position. Which, you know, looking back on it now, Jim Paris, every single position he makes is important. It's probably the most important positions of his season at the moment, because I have to call it, I've worked it out, Soren will take the lead of the championship after this race if it finishes the way it is. So now Jim Paris I think he needs to move up to approximately 11th. I think it's 11th he needs to go on level terms with Soren for the championship, and if he makes anything better than 11th, he will retain the lead of the championship. I believe, at least at the moment, there's so much to consider. Such as sprint race points, fastest lap point might actually go the way of Soren. Maybe Jim needs to think about fastest laps here, because Soren is flying. You know, Soren's not towing off anybody. He's just driving around on his own, so he won't get the benefit of the tow. As it seems, been great racing here, by the way, from Max Andrews in recovery mode himself after crashing out on the last sector of the track. Peter Montani putting the pressure on at the moment with that fantastic looking livery. By the way, these drivers, if you know, drivers who are watching this who are not competing there, you can make your own livery for this championship. Feel free to ask around with other coordinates how to get that happen. I'm not sure myself, but you know, Beto looking fantastic in his livery there. We missed that. You know, he's only competed in 3 rounds this year, and this is his 4th. As we look down the order now, for certain fights, Baptiste van der Breggen still yet to pit, but he's just following Jim Paris around now. And we're seeing a clear lead here from Soren. I think Nico Tich is very safe, and he matches his fastest lap time within a 10th, but he doesn't take a fastest lap there, Soren. With a clear lead. Adam Sherpitt as well. All top 3 drivers just driving around now in a very, very sort of similar run. We've also got Timo van Kukkelsven, who had a bit of a chaotic start, but he's up there in 4th. So it's looking good for Timo at the moment. A driver that, you know, if he returns season 2, it's going to be very interesting. As we see Max, I believe that's Max Carlton in for his Joker lap. And where will this bring him out? He's going to be close between him and Nye, the B final winner. As he comes down the pit lane now, is it going to be a good rejoin? And he does get away. And yes, Nye does go to the inside. Now, Nye is fighting back to that B final where he started 3rd. And he could finish as high as, I believe, 8th at the moment. Ben Paynes is very unlucky at the moment as well. You know, he should be a bit higher up. He's just lagging behind because he had that incident in the pit lane with Jim Paris. But honestly, that's the risk you take but, you know, following the championship leader Jim Paris into the pit lane, you just wouldn't expect him to hit the barrier that way. I mean, he did it at Spa, but to do it twice, it does show that these best drivers, they have to risk it if they want to get the results. We see a great duel here from Magic Rex and Perligio de Sante. The more creative Perligio, the driver, he should know more than anybody else about this car, as he does oversteer there a little bit and give Magic Rex a big gap, I would say, coming round. So, 14.5 minutes to go. Still such a long time. We're only on lap 8 as well. Only 8 laps this race have gone so far. But Timo van Kukkelsven is the next driver in. And if all goes well, I do believe he will just come out in a cool 4th place. It does look scrappy, but yes. Jan Leemans, by the way, is in behind. Be very interested to see where he comes out. It's going to be very interesting to see the points after this round as well. As we see now Perligio come in. Now, I can't imagine doing this in VR. It must be very claustrophobic. As he does get a good stop there. Very good example of a stop. Very quick as well. Going to come out behind Peter Montani and put some pressure on that Peter Montani and Max Andrews fight. As we see Baptiste van der Breggen now coming through the controller driver. And he goes around the outside. And he does actually go ahead of Perligio there. There's Jim Paris. Now, Jim Paris, I've just noticed, is actually behind, once again, Baptiste. So you have to question, has he done his second stop? I might have missed that. As we do see Baptiste van der Breggen, actually. Baptiste van der Breggen has the fastest lap now of the event with a 1 minute 15.001, almost hitting that 14 club. But you know what that means? Jim Paris actually does keep the points from it. And Jim Paris does overtake Perligio there. Now, Perligio has a lot of respect for Jim Paris. Will he work with him, or will he put pressure on him? But for Jim Paris, this is the greatest race he needs to race now. He needs to get positions. It's so important for him but also what's important is Baptista van der Becker holding that fastest lap. Now, Soren actually has pitted on that last lap as well. We did see he's taken his first Joker lap, just probably for a bit of safety. You don't want the clock to run down to about 3 minutes to go. Find out you can only do 2 laps and you've got 2 Joker laps still to do because it might not be enough. You know, disqualification is probably even worse than, you know, what could happen at the moment for Soren, especially with such a gifted position he has at the moment in this race. Nico Titch, I probably would expect to pit the moment Soren gets on the back of him. But for at the moment, it's a clear second place, I would say, for Soren, and Adam Sherpitt is probably within bounds. Yeah, I would say for third, as the top 3 are pretty clear at the moment. And how they're going to finish, we've seen a great mix of karts at the bottom though, with Max Andrews. We've got Peter Montane and Baptista van der Becker. Baptista's taken the fast. In fact, no, it's changed again. Soren now back on top, 14.873, takes back that fast lap point. You know what that is? It's because he's drafting behind Nico Titch, I believe. He's now got the fast lap once again, so he gains that championship point back again. This is even more important now for Jim Paris. Jim Paris, if anything, needs to get onto the back of somebody and get that fastest lap, because although getting positions is one thing, that fastest lap point is going to be a championship decider at this rate. And, you know, it's going to... And Jim Paris, by the way, you know, we still got 1 round of ACK to go, which is next Thursday. And we could find ourselves in a position where Jim Paris and Soren are tied on points going into that final race. Now, that would be something special for ACK in its second season. We see, you know, a lot of attacking here. Max Carlton, that wasn't a great move, I would say. He's going to let Nye back through. Very good. Good sportsmanship. I'm not sure if he let back through or just had no momentum, but he's got a clear gap there, Nye. Great to see, though, at least that those drivers moved into order. Soren, this is a fantastic story, though. I believe, you know, Jim Paris could be tied on points with Soren. Now, this is something we did not expect going into this season, to have such an epic possible finale. Nico Titch, by the way, is in the pit lane because Soren is close behind. So will this be a good stuff for Nico Titch? He can afford to just wait a little bit. He can afford to just take a very calm stop. And he does, in fact. And he comes out in a clear second place. That's Adam Sherpitt just behind. But both of those drivers have to pit once again. So, at the moment, you know, 10 minutes to go. It's looking very sorted in that top 3, like I said before. But we're looking at the order. Jim Paris does get past there. Beta Montane in what is, once again, an extremely important move for this championship, as we're seeing the 2 drivers now have a head fight. And that, I believe, is Baptista van der Becker getting past Max Andrews. Will Max work with him? Yes, it does look like it. Max, very smart play there from him as they go through. I wouldn't trust Baptista van der Becker through that corner, I would say, Max. But great to see from the drivers just knowing, you know, what the strategy is here. As Jim Paris, you can see just in the background now, you know, Max Andrews, quite a new driver to championship, but if I saw the current, at least, championship leader behind me, I would be quite concerned, I would say, and thinking, right, well, this guy is very quick and he could compromise my races. But we're going to see now Baptista take a much thinner line there than Max through these corners, as we just hit under 10 minutes to go. I will say, by the way, Nico Titch is in. There we go. So this is now... I was about to say that Adam Sherpitt is actually catching Nico Titch at quite a quick rate. So this could be the case of Adam Sherpitt finishing second, actually, in this race. As now Nico Titch comes out, that's all his stops done. And now we only have 9 minutes to find out what's going to happen in this race. Now, I believe it is Adam Sherpitt versus Nico Titch for that second place, which is very important. You know, people won't say it, but on that last lap, Adam Sherpitt was actually 3/10 quicker as well than, as we see Max Carlton in for his last stop. Now, a driver who is very new to the championship, and yes, he does get it right. To be in the A final is already fantastic enough. It is Baptista van der Becker. He does send it on the inside. Great to see at the moment coming through. Baptista now on a charge, to be honest with you, and still, it's a game of what could have been for Baptista van der Becker and Jim Paris, I would say as well. But Baptista van der Becker leading that first lap, and just to go on to, I believe it's the grass or the sand. I believe that the creator forgot to texture the grass, is the best way to put it. But, you know, what could have been from Baptista van der Becker. But he overcooked in that first corner, and I'm sure he's very disappointed with himself at the moment. But we're seeing now Max Carlton is sitting behind Baptista. He's being patient with it at the moment. Is he patient enough? I can just see Jim Paris in the background there. You know, 8 minutes to go. we're monitoring now. What we're watching for is Adam Sherpitt versus Nikotic. And on that last lap, Adam Sherpitt, we don't know actually, because that wasn't Nikotic's pit stop that. So Nikotic went for 2 stops or joker laps in a row. So we're going to wait for the next lap to see how fast Adam Sherpitt was versus Nikotic. And it's actually now it is a fight for second place. Very split out around the rest of the field, but Jim Paris is down there still in 12th place. If I had to put my maths on it, I would say Soren is leading the championship now by 2 points. I'm just working out my notepad here. I believe it's 2 points, but we're going to have to wait till the end of the race to see. Now Jim Paris is on Max Andrews. Like I said, Max Andrews, you know, you see Jim Paris is in your mirrors. Do you think this is the championship leader, or do you think I'm going to fight him? Jim Paris is down the inside and he's going to take it. And now Jim Paris is still on a charge. Will Max Andrews work with him? He does try and hold her on the outside. He's going to lose that position, of course, as Jim Paris comes through. Will Max Andrews work with the championship leader? That's the big question here. As we see Soren in for his last stop, he can take all day. He can drop seconds. And he does. It's clean. And he's out into the lead. And that should be Soren now going to the end. But there's one thing we still need to sort out, and that's the fastest lap. And this is Adam Sherpitt on the back of Soren. Now, Adam Sherpitt has one more joke lap to go, and in a way he'll be quite frustrated because Nikotic is the driver he's fighting, and Soren might be getting in the way if Adam Sherpitt is the faster driver. Now, another question that comes from here: if Adam Sherpitt gets a tow from Soren over this whole lap, will Adam Sherpitt take the fastest lap of the race and steal the point away from Soren? That's the close thing. And now this is something that Jim Paris will want. As for Max Andrews, though, he's still following Jim Paris here. Probably learning off him, learning where he's going faster, you know, learning where maybe he can improve as he gets to grip with his mod. That's Vendrell, by the way, fastest first sector. I'm not sure who he's following, but he's definitely getting the toe. Yes, it's Magic Rex he's following. This will be an interesting lap now as we follow Sherpitt. Sherpitt was slower by a 10th on that last lap to Titch, but now Sherpitt will come across the line. Will he nick a fastest lap here in the toe of Soren, or will he decide to pit as we come across? He doesn't go faster. He actually slows down a little bit, Sherpitt there, so he needs to keep up with Soren. Soren's flying off into the distance, actually, very frustratingly, I'd say, but Nikotic has done all he can do. This is only a fight for 1 point between them both, so we'll see how that fight goes. But as we go back down the order now, this is Jim Paris now. He's pulling away from Max Andrews. No, we're actually going to join back on board with Jarne Leemans, who's following Thibaut van Kunkelsven. Both drivers, I believe, have stopped. And that's a great recovery, if so, from Jarne Leemans on the first lap antics, and Thibaut as well, of course, who was almost sideways on that first lap. As we see a crash, in fact, that's Baptiste van der Breker again. That's the third thing that's happened to him this race. I was just looking on the timings then for him for his stop, and he's crashed in the pit lane again. Oh, Baptiste, now that's a day to forget. Baptiste, listen, that was a lap he took the fastest first sector as well. He had a fantastic, and in fact he's finished with it. He's done. You know, and why wouldn't he be done? He started first position, but to make that many mistakes was so unfortunate, and maybe it's an issue with the controller. But Baptiste, unfortunately, after such a fantastic sprint race, and he will gain back 3 points through the sprint race win at least. But yeah, it's very unfortunate. So Jarne Leemans now and Thibaut. Listen, these two drivers are teammates in real life. They're not going to be making the mistakes that other drivers are making. Jarne Leemans and Thibaut, very smart drivers, and they're going to be pushing each other along. By the way, we're still following Adam Sherpitt up front, who's yet to do his joker. At least I believe at the moment, as Nikotic is just in behind. As we're seeing now, Thibaut is making a few mistakes there, and Jarne's starting to get a bit annoyed with it, you can see. But Jarne, you know, they are teammates. They know when enough's enough and when the move is on. We're seeing a great fight, by the way, down the order. Nye at the moment, I believe, up in 6th place. Now that would be an unbelievable result, considering he was in the B final just earlier. At the moment, as we see now, only 3 minutes to go, and there's still so much to sort, really, in this race. Sherpitt is actually on the back of Soren there again now, taking the tow. Doesn't take a fastest lap, only a 49, so close there for Adam Sherpitt, actually almost took Right, there's now we're following Jim Paris. Now this is another important move. That's Max Carlton actually in front of him on his ACK debut, I believe. Coming through, and Jim Paris does make the overtake. Yes, now Jim Paris is up into 9th position. Now, that is so important for Jim Paris now to finish in this position. And looking at my notes, this could almost mean they're tying going into this final round. And this has just made the last round of ACK an unmissable round for many drivers. And Max Carlton pulls back out onto Jim Paris. He's not having it. He's not having it, Max Carlton. He's saying, I'm going to go in front. And Jim Paris now, he's fighting for a championship here. Max Carlton not fighting for a championship. As they go round, we see a rejoin there from Ben Paynes. It could have almost all gone wrong again for Jim Paris. As Jim Paris now holds on. Maybe it's a case of Max Carlton just doesn't care. You know, he's not fighting for a championship here. It's Jim Paris. He's the one who crashed into a barrier, not him. So why should I have to bow down to it? But Jim Paris does get a cleaner exit there, but he will still be under pressure from Max and now Jim Paris and Ben Paynes as well. I can see just behind that, Max Andrews. So 3 British drivers now fighting against the Greek driver of Jim Paris. And Max Carlton does go for it, but Jim Paris has the inside. He has to give up. And this has led Ben Paynes to come back into the action with Max Andrews. It's going to be 3 British drivers on the championship leader with 1 minute 46 on the clock. Just looking for Soren. We're going to get 2 races, 2 laps, should I say, of action. But this is a fantastic little fight. We saw a bit of a bad move there from Max Andrews, but he does stay in behind, so that's fine. Ben Paynes, unfortunately, not benefiting from that. Jim Paris is starting to eke ahead ever so slightly there on Max Carlton, as Max Carlton does go a little bit too thin there, maybe, as now down the straight. He does close in on Jim, as Jim now going through this section. He's a lot wider there, Max Carlton. Oh, he gets a bit of slip, yes, and now he falls off. Jim Paris is now in a clean 8th position on track, which, I do believe, looking at my notes now, I think this will mean Soren goes ahead in the championship by a single point going into the last round. I believe, don't shoot the messenger on that one, but we're going to have to be following this championship fight all the way through the last round of the championship. Max Carlton now, unfortunately making that mistake, but now Ben Paynes is on the back rim. Ben Paynes goes straight down the inside. Not messing about here from Ben Paynes. Goes around, Max Carlton holds the outside. Is he going to run Ben Paynes? Yes, he holds on to 9th position. Adam Sherbet, by the way, in for his last lap. Adam Sherbet, this is important. Nico Titch versus Adam Sherbet. Is it going to be enough? Is he going to come out in 2nd place? No, Nico Titch is miles ahead there. I did say, yes, he was in a very safe position. Unfortunate from Adam, but listen, 3rd place. What a result from Adam Sherbet, you know, and what a recovery as well from last round where he was in the B final. So to finish in the top 3, great championship points. Jarne Leemans as well, there in 4th position. Thibaut van Krugersveld actually fell behind by a lot on those last couple of laps. I believe, yes, I think he had 1 more stop to go. That was why. As 9th, by the way, in 6th position. What a fantastic result that would be from that driver. What an unbelievable result, in fact. We're just following Ben Paynes, who's fallen off the back. What can I say though? Soren, you know, last round winning that sprint race and winning the race and getting that fastest lap, that was something. But this round was harder. It was harder to replicate. The sprint races were harder. The final was harder, but he got in front very early, thanks to Baptista, to be honest with you. But now he comes across the line for, at least for now, another hat-trick. A fantastic win from Soren to potentially take the lead of this championship. Nico Titch comes across, fantastic take place from Nico Titch, and well done to Adam Sherbet, finishing 3rd. At the moment, it's looking like Jarne Leemans coming home, yes, in 4th position. Great result from Jan once again, saying you'd finish in the top 10 today, you'd be happy. Well, Jan, you finished 4th, fantastic result. Thibaut there in 5th position. We got Nye finishing in 6th. Unbelievable result from him. So he came from the B final and Magic ranks. He also won the B final. He's come from and finished in 7th. Jim Paris in 8th. It will be interesting to see where the championship comes to that. Max Carlton in 9th. And we got Max Andrews in 10th. Ben Paynes, unfortunately, 11th, with Pierre Ligio in 12th. Peter Montani fell into some issues, it looked like, in the latter stages of that race. And Baptista van der Breggen, who finished, unfortunately, in last place. Well, what an unbelievable race. I don't know what to say about it. And I'm really interested now to go away, look at the points and see who is out on top. And let me tell you, that last race next week on Thursday, you do not want to miss it. Just want to say thank you once again to Durnica for the live stream today, the broadcasting team. I want to say thank you to Pierre Ligio for the card. Thank you to Baptista and Yanni for all their help with the championship, and of course, finally, well done to Victor for producing a great track. I'm sure all the drivers will agree what a great track it's been. So thank you, Victor, for all your help on that. So what a round. Let me say, next Thursday, you don't want to miss it. Thank you ever so much for watching, everybody. Please get involved with the league if you feel so. All the links are in the description. But for now, I'll see you all next Thursday for the finale. Thank you.